Have you ever noticed how something as simple as a warm cup of tea can quiet the noise of the day? The kind of quiet that doesn't just touch your ears, but your nerves, your stomach, your thoughts. There's something ancient in that act. Something tender. And in a world where chronic illness like diabetes seems to chase us deeper into complexity with glucose monitors, medication changes, and label reading at every turn, it's easy to forget that healing sometimes begins with something profoundly simple. And yet, that's what makes this discovery so powerful. You see, most of my patients, especially the older ones, have been told to fear sweetness. To fear the comfort of taste. To treat their tongues like traitors. And I understand why. Blood sugar is a delicate dance, and many well-meaning people have been misled to believe that sweetness in any form is the enemy. But what if that isn't entirely true? What if, instead of a war against flavor, there's a new path forward, one that feels good, tastes good, and still supports the body's healing? Today, I want to walk you down that path. Because something remarkable is happening in the quiet corners of medical research and ancient herbal wisdom, something that even physicians like myself once overlooked. 2 teas. Sweet by nature. Not from sugar, not from syrup, not from fake substitutes, but from the earth itself. These aren't new miracle pills. They're not found in obscure clinics or overpriced supplements. They've been here all along, patient, gentle, waiting for us to remember. And the first one is peppermint. Not candy cane sweet. Not cloying or artificial. But the soft, minty sweetness that lingers on the breath and clears the mind. Peppermint tea is like an old friend, welcoming, familiar, and surprisingly powerful. And what it's doing for people with diabetes, especially older adults, is nothing short of inspiring. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine an elderly man named Walter. 72 years old. A retired postman who once walked 10 miles a day but now struggles with bloating, fatigue, and that foggy-headed feeling that often shadows life after 60. His mornings start with stiffness. His afternoons with cravings. And his nights with indigestion. Like so many others, he found himself tiptoeing around food, afraid to enjoy even the smallest pleasures. One day, on a visit to my clinic, he mentioned a strange habit his wife had insisted on. A cup of peppermint tea after lunch. She says it helps her feel light, he said with a chuckle, but I just like the smell. I nodded. Then paused. And for the first time in years, I told him to lean into it. Because peppermint, this humble herb, has effects that modern science is finally catching up to. Clinical studies have shown that peppermint tea can relax the gastrointestinal tract, ease muscle spasms, and even improve bile flow, helping digestion in a way no synthetic pill can replicate. For seniors like Walter, that means less bloating, less gas, and fewer of those sharp, nagging stomach cramps that tend to creep in after heavier meals. But what really amazed him wasn't digestion. It was the way peppermint helped his sugar cravings. That constant whisper in the back of the mind that says, just one cookie, or just a bite. After just a week of peppermint tea each night, he told me, I don't even think about dessert anymore. It turns out, peppermint's gentle sweetness satisfies the tongue in a way that doesn't disrupt blood glucose. It quiets the urge, not by tricking the body, but by supporting it. The tea's natural compounds soothe the nervous system and offer a calming effect on the brain's reward centers, which reduces stress-based eating. And the benefits don't stop there. That foggy-headed feeling? Peppermint has mild nootropic properties, meaning it gently enhances cognitive clarity. It increases oxygen to the brain. Seniors who drink it often report feeling more awake in the morning, but without the jitteriness of caffeine. And that's important, because for someone managing diabetes, sleep and stress matter just as much as sugar. Now imagine this, it's late evening. The house is quiet. You're seated by a window, the light soft, a warm mug in your hand. You bring it to your lips, inhale the cool scent of mint, and sip slowly. In that moment, your stomach softens. Your chest expands. Your heartbeat slows just a bit. That's not just relaxation. That's medicine. Not all medicine has to come in a bottle. One of my patients, Rosa, age 68, started using peppermint tea for mild joint pain and sleeplessness. She told me that just sitting still with the tea helped her fall asleep faster and that her blood sugar numbers stopped swinging wildly overnight. I looked into her continuous glucose monitor logs. And she was right. Her nighttime glucose levels stabilized. Nothing else had changed but the tea. And here's what made me stop and think even deeper. Peppermint contains rosmarinic acid, a plant compound shown to have anti-inflammatory and anti-allergenic effects. That means it doesn't just help your digestion. It helps the inflammation that underpins many chronic diseases, including the low-grade inflammation seen in type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. It's gentle, but not weak. And the beauty is, you don't need much. A single bag. A handful of leaves. Hot water. 10 minutes. Healing doesn't have to be hard. I often tell people, let the steam be part of the ritual. Let it rise to your face. Breathe it in slowly. There's something therapeutic about giving your body permission to pause. That pause might be the most healing ingredient of all. You can even pair peppermint with other blood sugar-friendly herbs. A stick of cinnamon. A sliver of ginger. Or steep it with a few leaves of tulsi for a deeper calming effect. But even on its own, peppermint stands tall. Affordable. Accessible. And as one study in the Journal of Phytotherapy Research pointed out, clinically useful for gastrointestinal and neurocognitive symptoms alike. For people with diabetes, every small step matters. And peppermint isn't just a step. It's a doorway. A new rhythm. A whisper from the body saying, thank you. Now, if peppermint is the first sweet note in this healing symphony, then fennel is the second. And it may surprise you. Because fennel tea doesn't look remarkable. It doesn't shout for attention in grocery aisles. But behind its mild licorice-like flavor lies a medicinal powerhouse, especially for seniors navigating the waves of post-meal discomfort, hormonal imbalance, and unpredictable blood sugar spikes. Let's return to Rosa for a moment. After finding relief with peppermint, she became curious. One day, she brought in a small thermos and poured me a cup. Doctor, she smiled, this one's from my abuela. Fennel tea. She used to say it helped quiet the belly. She wasn't wrong. Fennel has been used for centuries across cultures, from Mediterranean grandmothers to Chinese herbalists, for one key reason: its ability to gently stimulate digestion, reduce gas, and calm abdominal pain. But more than that, it holds something else seniors deeply need: insulin support. Recent pharmacological reviews show that compounds in fennel, like anethole and fenchone, may help improve insulin sensitivity and reduce postprandial glucose spikes. That means better sugar control after meals. And if you're over 60, you know that's often the trickiest time to manage. I want you to imagine something for me. Picture a gentle evening light pouring across a quiet kitchen table. There's a small cup resting there, steam rising, curling softly into the golden air. The scent is subtle, sweet, earthy. Not demanding, not loud. It doesn't shout its importance, but it's there, steady, grounding. That's fennel tea. And for many older adults I've cared for, it's become more than just a digestive aid. It's become a small promise. A daily ritual that says, I still deserve to feel good. One of my patients, Harold, an 81-year-old former music teacher, once told me that drinking fennel tea made his stomach feel like a cello after being tuned. I asked what he meant. He said, it stops rattling and starts humming again. That's the kind of clarity fennel brings. A hum instead of a struggle. For diabetics, fennel isn't just a gut remedy, it's also a secret ally in managing insulin resistance. Newer studies in phytotherapy and natural medicine are revealing how fennel's polyphenol help modulate glucose metabolism. And unlike the sharp spike and crash responses from processed sweeteners or even certain fruits, fennel's sweetness is quiet. It lingers just long enough to satisfy the palate, then steps aside, leaving the pancreas undisturbed. Now let me tell you something else that doesn't get discussed enough: digestion and blood sugar are deeply connected. When your stomach is tense, slow, or inflamed, your blood sugar takes a hit. You might eat something healthy, but if your gut isn't functioning well, glucose can still rise unpredictably. That's where fennel becomes essential. It doesn't just comfort your digestion. It calms the entire hormonal symphony behind it. Cortisol, insulin, leptin, they all dance together. And fennel, with its anti-inflammatory and carminative properties, gently smooths the rhythm. If you've ever struggled with constipation, bloating, or the kind of post-meal fatigue that seems to drag your soul down, try fennel tea. 1 cup after lunch. Sip it slowly. Let it rest on your tongue. Don't rush. That's how healing begins. And for women, especially postmenopausal women dealing with hot flashes, mild cramps, or fluctuating hormones, fennel is a quiet source of grace. Clinical studies have shown that fennel contains phytoestrogens, plant-based compounds that help regulate estrogen levels in the body. This isn't hormone replacement. It's a gentler, safer balance. And for diabetic women over 60, whose metabolism and sleep are already vulnerable, that balance can make all the difference. A patient of mine named Teresa told me she used to wake up 4 times a night, sweating, anxious, her stomach tight, her breath shallow. We adjusted her dinner. We added 1 small cup of fennel tea after her evening walk. And something changed. It's not dramatic, she said. But I feel like my body is remembering how to rest. That's what we forget. Healing doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it's a whisper. A slow return. You don't need fancy equipment. No juicers. No supplements with labels you can't pronounce. Just fennel seeds and hot water. Let them steep. 5 to 10 minutes. Then strain and sip. Add a slice of apple if you'd like. Or a sliver of ginger for warmth. But even plain, fennel stands on its own. And the best part? It works in harmony with peppermint. You can drink peppermint in the morning to awaken your system, and fennel in the evening to soothe it. 1 lifts. 1 settles. Together, they create a rhythm of care that mimics what the body longs for, balance, not punishment. Have you ever noticed how, as we age, the world starts to treat our needs like burdens? Your digestion slows, that's just getting old. Your cravings increase, must be bad habits. But no. These changes are real. They're biochemical. They're hormonal. And they are not your fault. They are your body's way of crying out for a different kind of attention. And I believe the most powerful thing we can do, especially after 60, is to listen. Listen when your belly feels tight after dinner. Listen when your sleep comes slower, your cravings louder. These are not weaknesses. These are signals. And what fennel offers, what peppermint restores, is a gentler response to those signals. They say, I hear you. I'm with you. Let's settle things down together. There's a tenderness in that. A dignity. Too often in medicine, we chase the numbers: fasting glucose, A1C, BMI. And yes, they matter. But behind those numbers is a person. A person who just wants to feel normal again. To eat without fear. To sleep without interruption. To move without aching. Let's talk about movement, then. Because this is where teas like peppermint and fennel go beyond digestion. Did you know that reducing chronic inflammation through daily habits can improve not just glucose metabolism but also mobility? You may think it's your knees or your hips holding you back. But sometimes it's your gut. Inflammation that begins in the intestines can travel, affecting joints, muscles, and even your brain. This is called the gut-joint axis. And while we're only beginning to map its full landscape, teas like peppermint and fennel, rich in antispasmodics, antioxidants, and digestive balancers, can help tone down that fire. They soothe the storm from the inside out. I remember one gentleman, Arthur. He had type 2 diabetes for over a decade. Loved woodworking. But lately, his hands would swell and ache so badly he had to stop carving. We made small changes. Less fried food. More hydration. And at my encouragement, he began drinking fennel tea with a pinch of turmeric after dinner. 3 weeks later, he brought me a carved box. For your tea, he said. My hands, they don't feel cursed anymore. That moment broke something in me. Because it reminded me why I do this. Not for prescriptions. Not for protocols. But for freedom. For people like Arthur and Teresa and Walter who just want to return to themselves. And it's in that spirit that I offer you this truth. These two naturally sweet teas, peppermint and fennel, aren't fringe remedies. They're not outdated folklore. They are scientifically supported, clinically useful, and soul-nourishing allies in the journey of aging with grace. Yes, they help blood sugar. Yes, they ease digestion. But more than that, they restore relationship. The one between you and your body. The one between healing and enjoyment. And isn't that what's been missing all along? We've taught seniors to be afraid of pleasure. To fear taste, indulgence, softness. But peppermint and fennel defy that fear. They are pleasurable. Sweet. Comforting. And still healing. They let you say yes again to flavor, to ritual, to your own needs. So make it a ritual. Every day, 1 cup in the morning. 1 cup at night. Let that small act become sacred. Let it be a moment that says, this body is worth loving. This life is worth supporting. It doesn't have to be hard. In fact, healing often hides in the easiest places. A cupboard. A kettle. A quiet moment at the end of the day. I want you to think about something simple, something we rarely pause to consider, the power of repetition. The same way the sun rises each morning. The same way your heart beats, again and again, without asking for thanks. There's wisdom in routine. And there's healing in the ordinary, especially when that ordinary moment becomes a source of nourishment. That's what peppermint and fennel tea offer. Not a flashy transformation, but a return. A restoration. A daily act of remembering that even in a world rushing to sell you answers, some of the best ones have been sitting on your shelf all along. I can't tell you how many seniors have come through my clinic over the years with the same quiet resignation in their eyes. Not fear, not anger, just exhaustion. Tired of managing. Tired of numbers. Tired of thinking about their body like a machine that's always breaking down. And to every one of them, I've wanted to say this: you are not a machine. You are a story. A living, breathing, feeling story. With seasons. With memories. With a voice. You don't have to fight your body. You don't have to fear your cravings, or punish your appetite, or live in a constant state of restriction. There is another way. And it begins not with a diet plan or a doctor's lecture, but with a cup. A warm cup held between your hands. Steam rising gently. The scent of mint or fennel filling the air. A few quiet minutes just for you. That's how it starts. That's how everything begins to shift. Because these teas don't just soothe the stomach or lower glucose, they change the pace of life. They remind you to slow down. To listen. To care. Not out of fear, but out of love. Let's talk about that love for a moment. So many of us are taught that health is about control. Control your weight. Control your meals. Control your blood sugar. But true healing? It's about relationship. It's about listening to what your body is trying to tell you, not silencing it. When your body asks for calm, peppermint is there. When it asks for support, fennel answers. When it asks for sweetness, genuine sweetness that won't betray your insulin, these two teas provide a bridge. One of my patients, Elena, told me something that stayed with me. She said, I drink peppermint in the morning and fennel at night. It's like they bookend my day with peace. That's what we're really talking about, isn't it? Peace. The kind that allows your cells to heal. The kind that brings down inflammation. The kind that lets your pancreas rest, your muscles relax, your heart beat without burden. I wish I could bottle that peace. Sell it in pharmacies. But the truth is, it's not for sale. It's brewed. It's sipped. It's chosen, moment by moment. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with diabetes? Everything. Because diabetes isn't just a number on a lab report. It's a cascade of stress, of disrupted hormones, of poor sleep, of inflammation, of gut imbalance. And peppermint and fennel? They gently touch all those layers. They ease digestion, which lowers the inflammatory load. They calm the nervous system, which lowers cortisol, and when cortisol drops, insulin sensitivity improves. They satisfy cravings, which helps reduce unnecessary snacking and late-night eating spikes. They support better sleep. And sleep, deep, uninterrupted, restorative sleep, is one of the most overlooked weapons in the fight against high blood sugar. And maybe most importantly, they return a sense of agency. Of control. Not in the harsh, punishing way, but in the quiet way that says, I can do something. I can start here. That's what I want you to carry with you as this video draws to a close. Not just the names of two teas. Not just their benefits. But the invitation they represent. The invitation to soften. To heal without force. To age without apology. To love your body, not despite its changes, but because of them. Because every wrinkle is a record of survival. Every gray hair is a witness to wisdom. And every quiet cup you sip is a vote for your own dignity. Peppermint and fennel will never replace insulin. They won't reverse diabetes on their own. But they will hold your hand through it. They will make the process gentler. They will remind you that healing can feel good, taste good, and be something you look forward to, not something you dread. And they will whisper, with every sip, you are not alone. So, here's what I'd like you to do. Tonight, or tomorrow morning. Go to your kitchen. Boil a little water. Reach for that bag of peppermint or fennel tea. And before you take your first sip, pause. Take a deep breath. And thank your body. Not for being perfect. Not for being strong. But for showing up again today. That's worth honoring. If you feel overwhelmed, start with just 1 cup a day. Make it your own. Sit in your favorite chair. Put on soft music. Let the tea become your sanctuary. And over time, you'll see your blood sugar will become a little steadier. Your digestion a little smoother. Your sleep a little deeper. And your days, a little kinder. And in a world that often forgets the elderly, that rushes past their needs and overlooks their wisdom, I want you to remember this. You still matter. Your health still matters. Your joy still matters. And the small choices you make today, like reaching for a warm, sweet tea instead of a sugary snack, can echo into the weeks and years ahead in ways you can't even imagine yet. This is not just about tea. It's about returning to yourself. So go gently. Sip slowly. And know that in this moment, you're not managing disease. You're choosing wellness. And that choice, that quiet, dignified, powerful choice, can change everything. I'll leave you with this. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. A. Milne. Maybe peppermint and fennel aren't small at all. Maybe they're the beginning of a new story. One where you feel at home in your body again. Where sweet doesn't mean danger. And care doesn't mean control. But rather, a soft and steady promise to be kind to yourself every single day. So to everyone watching, wherever you are in your journey with blood sugar, aging, or health, I see you. I respect you. And I believe you deserve peace. Not someday. Not later. Now. Go brew your peace. I'll be here when you need me. Before you go, remember this: healing doesn't always come in pills or prescriptions. Sometimes, it begins with a single cup, and a choice to care for yourself gently, one day at a time. If this video gave you hope or reminded you that you still deserve peace and sweetness in your life, then don't stop here. Tap the next video on your screen. I'll be right there, walking beside you through the next step of your journey. And if you know someone, a parent, a friend, a neighbor, who needs this comfort too, share this with them. Because no one should walk this path alone. Click. Breathe. Heal. I'll see you in the next chapter.